Deal or no deal, President Trump saying he is going to hold off on airstrikes against Iran, at least for now. We have the latest on where things stand tonight. And have you seen these men? Police are looking for them in connection with a terrifying home invasion where a woman was blindfolded and bound and robbed of more than $250,000 worth of items. But first, here we go again, back on the weather roller coaster with storms set to bring flash flooding to our area again. Good evening. Thank you for being with us. I'm Arthur Chien. No rain just yet, but that is all about to change later tonight, and that's going to be the case for the morning commute. Let's take a live look at the radar. You can see it's all lit up. Not what we want to see, but that is what is heading towards us. And maybe it stays around for a little while. We have Fox 5 live team coverage tonight. Kendall Green is looking at fears of yet another round of flash flooding. But we begin with meteorologist Audrey Puente with what exactly might be headed our way. Hey, Audrey.
Hi there, Arthur. Well, as you showed on the radar, we are anticipating rain that's headed right in our direction. It will be arriving across the tri-state area from west to east as we move along through the evening and into tonight. Flash flooding will be a threat, especially as we move along through our Monday. We're also expecting some very warm temperatures this week and quite a humid weather pattern as we move along through the next several days in the tri-state area. It's 78 degrees in Central Park, 82 at LaGuardia, and 81 in Atlantic City. The clouds are starting to increase across our skies here, and the rain is not too far behind. We can see it pushing through Pennsylvania and now into central New York and edging its way into Sullivan County at the moment and slowly getting its way over towards northwestern portions of New Jersey. For the most of the tri-state area, we are staying pretty dry right now. We had a couple of showers work across the Twin Forks of Long Island, but the main rain is still off towards our west, and of course it's all headed right in our direction. So we are expecting rounds of rain to push in here, and some of it could be heavy at times, and as a result we could have flash flooding across the region. So the National Weather Service does have a flood watch that goes into effect at 8 p.m. tonight for the areas shaded in green here. This will be in effect until Monday evening, and I wouldn't be surprised if they actually expand it to move just a little further north and a little further to the east the closer we get as the rain starts to make an impact across the region here. Now, what can you expect? We are expecting isolated to scattered instances of flash flooding as we move along through the next, let's say, 24 hours or so. The timing really appears to be late tonight through Monday evening, and the average rainfall totals appear to be somewhere averaging around 1 inch, with isolated amounts to be at about 3 inches. So we will have flash flooding because some of those amounts will come down heavily and in kind of cell amounts, in cells that will be in isolated amounts. And isolated severe storms are possible on Monday, and within some of those we could have some damaging winds as well as some significant downpours, and that's when we'll get the flash flooding occurring. We'll talk more about that, and I'll show you some of the timings of those cells coming up in just a few minutes. Arthur?
All right, thank you so much, Audrey. Well, even though the storms are not here yet, they are already impacting area airports. You're taking a live look at Newark International Airport right now, where at last check the average delay is already up to about an hour. JFK is also experiencing departure delays. And this is nothing new to us. You could call this the summer of storms, and that means flood-prone areas are yet again getting special attention tonight. Fox 5's Kendall Green is live in Flushing, Queens, with what's being done to stay ahead of these storms. Good evening, Kendall.
Yeah, hey, good evening, Arthur. It's dry right now here in Flushing, Queens, but the flash flooding fears are real here if these summer storms are anything to go by. Let's get you some of the video that we took a couple of weeks ago. This is a look at some of the flooding from 2 weeks ago, where we saw everything from roads transformed into rivers, vehicles partially submerged underwater, and trash cans floating away from homes in this area. Now, New York City Emergency Management already warning people on social media about the storms, urging those in flood-prone areas to get ready. Now, there's already a flood watch posted on parts of New Jersey and high surf advisory for parts of Queens and Long Island. And as Audrey mentioned, this especially applies to lower-lying urban areas throughout our region where the rain has few places to properly drain. And as you can imagine, basements were flooded out as the storm left homes in need of serious repair. Now, then in Woodside, Queens, just last week, you saw preps similar to what we expect to see tonight heading into the work week. Cinder blocks, sandbags, tarps, all at the ready to prepare for the waves of rain and the flooding that they tend to leave behind. Now, those preps help prevent basements from being overwhelmed with floodwaters, a part of the trend that we've gotten to know all too well in recent weeks. Now, a meteorologist from the National Weather Service explains the factors adding to the uptick with these powerful storms. Take a listen.
We are starting to enter the time of year where we start to get into our climatological peak in terms of the potential for some of these heavier rainfall or events and flash flooding. Again, we're getting close to the hurricane season. So as we get into mid to late August, early September, that's when we tend to see more tropical moisture get involved in our storm systems. And that's when we see the threat of heavy rainfall across the area start to get on an uptick.
Now, we'll see how the city is getting ready for the potential of these flash floodings coming up on Fox Local Newsroom Live at 8 and the 10 o'clock news coming up later at 10. But that's the latest here in Flushing tonight. Kendall Green, Fox 5 News. Arthur?
All right, Kendall, thanks very much. You can also track the storms headed our way and the flash flooding risk along with Audrey as she tracks it by downloading our free Fox Local app, where you can get news and weather updates anytime from anywhere. Police tonight searching for the suspects in a terrifying home invasion that took place in the Bronx. Police say the 3 people in this video broke into a home in Highbridge on Thursday night armed with knives and a gun. Then they allegedly assaulted a woman, removing her clothing, blindfolding her, and binding her hands and feet with duct tape. According to authorities, the suspects then stole hundreds of $1,000s worth of jewelry, cash, and other items. The victim is in stable condition. And the NYPD tonight also looking for your help identifying a suspect involved in the shooting of an elderly woman and a teenager on Friday afternoon in the Wakefield section of the Bronx. Police say the 87-year-old woman was shot in the face and torso, while an 18-year-old male was struck in the hip. Both victims were taken in the hospital in stable condition. Police yesterday arrested 3 16-year-old boys in connection with the shooting. 2 of the boys are facing attempted murder charges. But if you know who this 4th suspect may be, police want you to call their confidential Crime Stoppers hotline. And developing right now, parameters for peace between the U.S. and Iran. That's the question. President Trump says it is happening, so much so that he is halting strikes against Iran. Fox 5's Francis Wang is here with the latest on all this. Good evening, Francis.
Hey, Arthur. Good evening. Yeah, just days after the president warned the U.S. would strike Iran, quote, very hard, he's now saying those attacks are on hold. The president announcing just late last night he has canceled planned strikes, saying he wants to give diplomacy another chance as these negotiations continue. This is not the first time, though, he's made a similar announcement. Throughout the 5-month conflict, the president has repeatedly threatened major military action, only to later announce he's pausing or canceling those strikes to allow for diplomatic talks. It is a pattern that has played out multiple times since April, with ceasefires, pauses, and negotiations, often followed by renewed military action days, or in some cases, hours later. The latest reversal came just late last night when Trump posted he was canceling planned attacks after saying Middle East allies had reached the framework of a deal, including reopening shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. On Truth Social, the president wrote that the U.S. could attack Iran, quote, at levels of military terror strength and power not seen since World War II. But he goes on to say, quote, despite this, we have just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off any attack, in that the parameters of a deal has been agreed to, and that the attack has been canceled, quote, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal. On Fox News Sunday and Face the Nation this morning, Republicans and Democrats are divided on the president's strategy.
The president's been very careful in using military force only to be able to get them to the table to actually negotiate. No one wants to see a war. No one wants to see a conflict. There's a lot of things that go sideways during any kind of conflict like this. So using diplomacy is the best way to be able to resolve it long term. But when you have to use force to get people to do diplomacy, you have to use force.
I think what we're seeing here is a president who has an approach to this that's just rather erratic. He says one thing, he does another thing. It's escalatory at this point. He's trying to get us back to February, and I think if he could, if he had a big reset button he could hit, he would certainly take that option. Hey, we've got 18 dead Americans. Prices have skyrocketed.
Now, Iran's defense minister responded that the country remains on high alert, saying Tehran is, quote, neither surprised nor passive in the face of U.S. threats. But for now, the president says this pause will continue as long as these negotiations move forward. But, Arthur, given the back and forth we've seen over the past several months, it still remains unclear how long this latest halt in strikes will last. Arthur?
Indeed. It's on repeat. All right. Thanks very much, Francis. Meanwhile, also a conflict in the region. Israel says it has serious concerns with the disarmament deal with Hamas being pushed pushed by the Trump administration. President Trump's ceasefire plan calls on the militant group to surrender its weapons and destroy its network of tunnels. It also envisions Israel withdrawing from Gaza, the creation of a new Palestinian government, and the rebuilding of Gaza. However, a spokesperson for Israel's prime minister says their intelligence believes Hamas remains committed to rebuilding its military and not demilitarizing. He adds the Israeli military would not withdraw from Gaza before Hamas disarms. We've got a lot more to get to on the 6 o'clock news on the Sunday night, including some fun stuff, which includes a major dance party in the streets of Queens with a South American flair. Get ready to experience the sights and sounds of the Ecuadorian parade.